Hey everybody, Angela here from The Joy Heart, and I just wanted to jump in and ask you a question. I wanted to know what strategies that you actually have in place, or what's your go-to plan when you want to change and improve something in your life, but you have things that come up that kind of block you from really taking the steps that get you there. So you might know what you need to do. You might actually be excited about, some of the steps that you want to take. But then as you go to step out and you start taking those steps to change it, you might find that sometimes your emotional blocks or your psychological blocks can come up, and then, you procrastinate, you sabotage, and maybe you don't even get started, or you start, but then you kind of get a little bit scared about those changes coming about, or what it takes for you to actually get those changes starting to create some momentum and get on a roll with that. So it's really important to have something where you've got a bit of a go-to plan as to what you're going to do, almost like you're preparing for any fears that might show up. Because, let's face it, we're doing something that might be new, unfamiliar, and maybe even a little bit uncomfortable. Even if there's a part of us that really, really wants to improve that part of our life, but there's another part of us that might be in conflict with that part that really desires the dream, the goal, whatever it is. But then it sort of gets a little bit scared, and then there's a bit of an internal fight or battle that happens within inside of you. So your behavior often actually starts to demonstrate that. And so if you find that you're starting to do things a little different, you're starting to, procrastinate, you're starting to get a little bit fearful in your behavior, or results are showing that, then it's time to really get a strategy in place in order to be able to help you through that emotional and mental journey of doing things differently. So, I just wanted to share with you one of those particular strategies that I often teach my clients and, friends, family, and even children, because it's a very safe and proven effective technique. And before I do that, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Angela, as I mentioned, and I'm founder of The Joy Heart, and I'm a holistic mind, body and energy coach and an EFT or tapping practitioner. So I get to work with people all over the globe, where I help them to be able to get through that journey of change and what the process is, because it's an understanding that there is some blocks that we do face when we try to do things a little bit differently. But we can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. I'm sure many of you have heard that before. So my job is to come in, to hold your hand through the process and to help you get through that, so it's more of a comfortable journey for you, where we can really start to get familiar with change being more of an opportunity rather than a really threatening thing that can create a lot of instability within our system, emotionally, physically, on even a spiritual level, on a psychological level. So that's what I do, and the reason that I do it is because I went through a lot of unexpected changes very suddenly with my life, and I know that I'm going to go through even more, and I had to find those strategies that were going to help me, that were my go-to. So the one thing that I really do want to share with you with that is the emotional freedom technique that I do teach. I'm a clinical EFT tapping practitioner, and what we do with the EFT is basically like a psychological acupuncture. So it's like a stress relief technique that you can apply yourself, and just even teaching the basics goes a long way, and then you can apply that on a daily basis to help you with the emotional journey of change and transformation into being or having something else that you're not so familiar with in your life. So there's a lot of different techniques when it comes to EFT. There is a basic step-by-step process that we do follow that everybody can use. And as I said, it's even fantastic for kids because they get it really straight away. But there's so many different ways that we can utilize this tool, and over a period of time, you can learn how to really use that well. It's not just about applying it, but it's about applying it well so that it suits you and that you start to really get those results. And what we basically do is we help the part of our brain that starts to freak out a little bit when it starts to get emotional. And when we get emotional, what happens is that the prefrontal cortex, which is the forefront of the brain, the thinking part of the brain that can make all your decisions for you and really think things through and come up with strategies on what to do next, when we're stressed, that kind of goes offline. So EFT, or tapping as it's commonly referred to, actually helps that process to down regulate the emotional center, to help it to get back into its normal functioning, and to allow your prefrontal cortex, or that thinking part of the brain, to really come back online so that you can start to make some really great decisions again. And so when we're looking at what the steps we are needing to do to be able to move forward and to be able to change some things in our lives, we do have to do some things differently. And you're going to come up against a lot of the, blocks that you might have based on your past conditioning, based on your thinking processes, or based on just your own experience of maybe having tried it before and it didn't quite go the way that you really wanted it to go. Or it might have been quite a stressful journey for you as well. And sometimes it's more about even the fact that it hasn't been part of your reality before. So getting used to something being familiar, it can be a little bit scary and stressful when you go out there and you do it on your own. So I'm here to help you through that. And if you do like some of the things I've shared with you today, then please do follow me, and you'll be able to, get some more great tips and different things that I'm going to be sharing with you as we go through the whole process about how you can really work with and manage your reactions, your responses to your emotional state, to your physical state, to your psychological state, when there's things that you really want to improve in your life, but you're having a little bit of a struggle to do that. So if you've got any questions, by all means, send me a message, and I look forward to seeing you really soon. Have a great week.